had it.
What was it that you're talking about? Where at?
In Louisiana, I don't know. I kept that, and Bit Lee had.
What
Bit,
was it that you kept in Louisiana? You had what, and Bitley had what?
Bit Lee come up here. You know, he's the one that learned me about the turtle. Well, he bought a P-row with him, and when he left in debt, and he left me the P-row. And that's the P-row I had. And then Lewis Baker built one that was a good substitute for one. I mean, it was a good substitute. We had it named Nervous because it wasn't as flat as the P-roll was on the bottom. It turned up a little bit, and we nicknamed it Nervous. They'd say, one of them would say, I'll take this boat, and I'll take that, and I'll take Nervous. And it was tricky, boy. You had to learn on that particular boat. You had to learn all over again. Because if you walked one end there, other end come up out of the water, and you near about lose yourself.
His students they accompanied me one time to capture.
Did you ever take your kids out turtling?
Mm.
They were small. Sonny was about
I
13.
ain't never took a young one, because they were too dangerous. You can't tell about a young one. You'd have to be watching a young one and maybe have 2 or 3 turtles in the boat.
That little old boat.
And you bump something, and they tell them what. When if about 3 of them nail them, one of them at one time, that'd be too bad.
They never was interest in turtles.
No, I asked them that before. They weren't. I'm trying to think what else. What else do we need to ask about the turtles?
How many years
He did it
kept
since from 55 to 62. We got that covered.
Okay.
Antique business turtles. Tell me about when you brought the turtles home. Tell me some more details about sewing them up and why you did, and then you brought them home, and where'd you put them when you got home, and how long did you keep them?
When you sewed their feet and actually when you caught them, and you kept them sewed, you got home with them. Then I had a turtle pen, which was a mud hole, a big size one, with tin around it, 2 sheets of tin around it. And they was in the ground, I buried in the edges of it as a built thing, you know. And throw dirt up against, out of the hole I was digging to hold the water. And I kept a hydrant running in it most of the time till I get enough, and then I'd leave it alone. I'd cut the hydrant off. But the turtles, at one time, they all piled up in a corner. You don't want no corner on a turtle thing. They piled up in a corner, and I had so many in there that they went 6 foot high on top of one another. And I had there were pines out there, but I had 20-something loggerheads walking around that got out at night. And we found them out at night, them was sure. And we had to round them things up. And we just hope we got all of them. I don't know. But anyhow, they'll pile up in the corner, but you cut their feet loose when you come in and put them in that holding pen till you get a load. And then, now I had a 2-ton truck I hauled turtle on. And I'd haul a heck of a bunch of turtles at that time. I'd haul 35, 40 turtles down there. But had a truck to catch on fire with me in the yard, and it loaded with turtles. Loaded for the next morning. To leave the next morning. There was something else I was going to tell you about the turtles. But anyhow, you unsold them and left them, and when you got through, I don't know what it was, when you got ready to haul them off, you had to get them out of that mud hole, wash them off with a hose. You'll see me doing that in the film. Wash them off with a hose and load them up. And you didn't sew the feet then. In other words, when you caught them, that's the only time you sold your feet. And anyway, I hauled them off one fall. I hauled the last load, and I left one in that pool. But the water it went down, and I hauled that load. I loaded that load of turtle, and thought I had every one of them. And the next spring, this time of year, I was out there in that mud hole. It was crusted up like nobody been. But I seen a nose sticking up. And it was a loggerhead turtle, about a 60-pound turtle. And that nose, he'd been there all that time. And in dirt that it was so tough and all that he couldn't wiggle. He had breathing room, I know, but he had that nose up there. And I dug that rascal out with a shovel. And put water back on him, put him back in water. Didn't that happen?
Did he
What time of year?
turtles?
Tell me again about that. Tell me again about the turtle that was buried all winter long. You hauled your last load, right? Tell me again about that.
Well, it was my last load for the summer, and I wasn't going to turtle fish no more. And weather had done turned cold, and I hauled that. Emptied pool with all the turtles out of the pool. I must have had 35, 40 in there at that time, because I hauled them with a big truck then. Half of my turtle hauling was with a big truck. That you could put tons on,
You filled it up.
Well, I wouldn't fill it up because it'd help. And they'd have got out too, I had them about 2 deep on a 12-foot bed. I had them about a 7'8" body wide and 12-foot long bed. And I had about 2 turtles deep.
Just crawling around.
Mm-hmm.
Did he eat turtles?
Tell us about you bringing home some turtles now and then to eat. How would you go about butchering them? How often would you eat them? And what kind of animal were they?
Well, a lot of times, the way you kill one, you bring him in, you pick out one and kill him. And the way you kill him is take an axe and hit him right in the end of the nose and try to drive his nose back up in his head. That's the way to kill. And that'll kill him quicker than anything you do. If you cut his head off, you can kill him quick. I mean, if you chopped his head off, and there's a lot of meat up around that head too. And but anyhow, the best way to kill a turtle, and really the only way, is to hit him right in there on the nose, end of the nose, and him laying there with his head straight out. He can have his head picked up or what. You don't want to miss. I never did miss, but hit him right in the nose and try to drive that nose up, and that does something to his brain, because his brain is right in the end of that, right between, just between his eyes there. And that right there will kill him quicker than anything will. It paralyzes him more there. And you can skin him and he won't be a wiggling and scratching, itching, and all that kind of stuff.
How often did you have one?
Do what?
How often did you eat one? And what was it?
We kept one. We kept turtles off the cone. We had at least once a week, didn't we, sure? Yeah, we'd have a gang. When we did have one, we'd have a lot of people would gather up and have, and have it. And of course, she'd cook it herself. She got where she'd cook one real good. And she'd cook a soft pecan, and there'd be more turtle and all on it than there would be, if you bought one. And all kind of fluffy rice, a big bowl of fluffy rice made in the dish pan, I think. And anyhow, that's the whole art to it, is putting it over rice. And that like you go in a restaurant, you get one ladle of sauce pecan, and it won't be over 2 or 3 or 4 pieces of turtle meat, and they'll be small in it. And they might even make some kind of other beef or something with it. But anyhow, it's the seasoning of it and the way you cook it. You got to cook it. It takes a long time. It takes 4 hours or something, don't it? Huh? It takes all day to cook one. But you can take a boiler or a turtle, and 25 people eat on him. That's the reason I tell you how much a 100-pound turtle dressed out would make. And this would be a 30 or 35-pound turtle, and it'd feed 25 or so people. And I mean, all you could eat. We've eaten so everybody had to sit down by a tree or something, haven't you? They'd be that full.
When we captured small turtles, we returned to them.
Tell me about catching small turtles. What were they? And did you return them or bring them back, or what kinds were they? Oh yeah, let's fix that. There we go. Good deal.
Get on that.
No, he didn't. He missed it, but he's taking precautions.
Oh, no, you probably forgot he was down there.
Tell you about what now?
Tell me about, you used to sell stricket heads too, but if you caught a 5-pound loggerhead, would you bring home a 5-pound loggerhead or would you throw them back?
I'd turn him back.
Tell me about that process. If you caught what kind of blah?
Well, I never caught a 5-pound loggerhead. I've caught snapping turtles with nets and ponds and stuff like that, and hooks like I was telling you about, running making it come to the top. But people get me to get the turtle out of their pond, and I could sell the turtle. And I was in town up there in Ellisville, and I had about 20 turtle traps, hook nets made out of wire though. But they was of legal mash, because I didn't care about no little turtle no more. I'm talking about no 4-inch turtle, nothing like that. The only striped heads I could sell was baby ones. That's the little ones, the ones like that. Or either the big, 4 or 5 pounders or something other like that. And I'd put them in people's ponds, and they know they wasn't trying to catch no fish, because fish just went by, just went through it, anywhere they wanted to. But turtles stay in there. And I sold them to people had turtle farms. Down there they had turtle farms, and when you get a load of them kind, you have to take them to them farms, and they'll buy them, pay you $1 a piece for them, and throw them over in there.
He said in the past he took very many turtles in 1 pound in the lake or something. He was not scared that he can destroy all the population in this place.
Tell me about your thoughts on how long the turtling would last if you were in an area. Were you worried about it, or did you just decide you'd move on, or did he really not think about it? Tell me about it.
Well, you go in there, you just stay till it got where it wasn't profitable. And you was always, that's like a cow, the grass, the greener over yonder, And I think of somebody tell me of a dead river or something like that. I've been on Pascagoula River, Big Eddie, Little Eddie, and Eagle Lake up on, that's one